Today's class is lymphedema part 2, which include the special investigations and the treatment for lymphedema. Special investigations of lymphedema. It is often possible to diagnose and manage lymphedema purely on the basis of history and examination. Certain investigations may be required to confirm the diagnosis, to suggest management, and to provide prognostic information. Few routine tests are always performed. They include complete blood count, urea and electrolytes, creatinine and liver functional tests. Chest X-ray and blood smear tests are also done to rule out microfilariae. The special investigations include lymphangiography, isotope lymphoscintigraph, computerized tomography, that is CT scan, then magnetic resonance imaging, that is MRI. First we will see lymphangiography. In this, the lymphatics of the lower limb are delineated with radio-opaque dye. Surgically, a lymphatic trunk of the dorsum of the foot is exposed. Iodized oil contrast medium, example neohydrol ultrafluid lipiodol, should be injected directly into the exposed lymphatic trunk on the dorsum of the foot. By this contrast medium, the lymph nodes as well as the lymph trunks can be well visualized radiographically. The contrast medium is warmed and injected into the exposed lymph trunk. For a lower limb, approximately 6 ml of solution is injected over a period of 1 hour. Too rapid injection may produce respiratory distress and pulmonary oil embolus. Isotope lymphoscintigraphy. This replaced lymphangiography. Radioactive technetium labeled protein or colloidal particles are injected into an interdigital web space, which are taken up by the lymphatics. Serial radiographs are taken with a gamma camera. This technique offers a qualitative measure of lymphatic function as also certain anatomical details. Next is CT, which means computerized tomography. A single axial CT slice through the mid-calf has been used as diagnostic test for lymphedema. CT is mainly used to exclude pelvic or abdominal mass lesions. Next is magnetic resonance imaging, that is MRI. It provides clear images of the lymphatic channels and lymph nodes. It is an effective diagnostic procedure to distinguish between venous and lymphatic causes of a swollen limb. Next, we will see the treatment of primary and secondary lymphedema. Treatment of primary lymphedema. In the beginning, the conservative management should always be instituted for primary lymphedema. Conservative treatment of primary lymphedema. First one, elevation of limb at night by raising the foot end of the bed on blocks of at least 1 foot height. Second, an effective elastic stocking should be worn constantly by day. Control of lymphedema requires higher pressure, that is about 30 to 40 mm of Hg for leg. The patient should put on stocking as first thing in the morning before rising and should be worn throughout the day. Third one, pneumatic compression devices are available to control moderate lymphedema. Fourth one, exercise has got some effect in reducing lymphedema. Slow and rhythmic isotonic movements will increase venous and lymphatic return, and it is also augments muscle pumps. Exercise also helps to maintain joints mobility. When at rest, the limb should be positioned above the level of heart. Fifth one, if eczema is present, that should be treated. Fungal lesions should also be treated accordingly. By instituting this treatment, not only the progression of the edema will be halted, but also considerable return towards normalcy may be achieved. To the contrary, a long-standing lymphedema with secondarily fibrosed subcutaneous tissue, there will be hardly any improvement with this conservative treatment. If there is recurrent cellulitis, prophylactic measures should be taken. These cases should be referred for surgery. Surgical management of primary lymphedema. Main indications are 1. Limitation of function of lymph due to its weight and bulk. 2. Recurrent cellulitis. 3. Appearance of swollen leg cosmetically is an indication for surgical treatment. Two types of operation have been devised. 1. Excisional operations and 2. Physiologic operations. 1. Excisional operations. It include A. Homan's operation, B. Thompson operation, C. Charles operation, D. Kinmoth's operation. 2. Physiologic operations. In that first one, these operations aim to provide or enhance lymph drainage. Attempts have been made to create an artificial lymph channels through the subcutaneous tissue using non-absorbable thread. In the other type of physiological operation, attempt to link subcutaneous tissue with the deep lymphatics or to attach lymphatic bearing vesicles such as omentum or small bowel to the root of the affected lymph. Third, lymphovenous shunts have been used particularly in secondary lymphedema cases. Fourth, microsurgery. In many sites, the dilated lymphatics are anastomosed to veins by microsurgery. This has been more used in the edema of the arm. Treatment of secondary lymphedema. In contrast to primary lymphedema, secondary lymphedema hardly shows an improvement with conservative treatment. So, surgery is the only treatment of choice. Surgical treatment. As the pathology of secondary lymphedema is blockage or destruction of lymph nodes or lymph trunks, surgical procedures are designed to provide a lymphatic bridge across the obstructed area or by deliberate creation of a lymphovenous shunt just proximal to the site of obstruction. The surgeries or procedures are A. Bridging procedures, 2. Pedicle flaps, 3. Lymphovenous shunts, 4. Excisional operations. Thank you for listening, dears. Bye bye.